Ever feel like your team is just waiting around for that brilliant idea to strike? What if you could build a system for it instead? With a playbook for turning those random sparks of creativity into a reliable, repeatable engine for growth. Okay, let's start with a really crucial mindset shift. We all tend to romanticize innovation as this eureka moment, a lightning strike of pure genius. But honestly, that's a myth. The real power isn't just in having ideas, it's about solving existing problems in new, better ways. It's a process, not a miracle. So, to build our playbook, we first need to agree on what we're even talking about. This is about getting past that eureka moment. We're going to stop waiting for lightning to strike and start building a process that actually delivers results time and time again. So, this is our North Star, our core definition. And I want you to notice the two really key parts here: creating new value and solving problems in novel ways. If it doesn't add real value for your users and for the business, it's just a novelty, a cool trick. And if it's not a repeatable process, you can't count on it. This definition is what turns creativity from a happy accident into a strategic tool. Innovation isn't just one thing, it's a whole spectrum. It can be small, incremental tweaks. Think about when Gmail added Smart Reply. Or it can be a radical game changer like ChatGPT. But here's the crucial takeaway: most successful teams, day to day, live in that incremental and sustaining space. You do not need to disrupt an entire industry every single quarter. Consistent, valuable improvements are the absolute backbone of growth. Okay, so if innovation is a process, how do you fuel it? What goes into the machine? Well, you need a toolkit. In this section, we're going to explore some powerful frameworks that help you generate creative solutions on demand. At the very heart of this playbook is the innovation loop. This is the engine that drives everything else. You observe real-world problems, you ideate on potential solutions, you build a quick prototype, you validate it with real users, and only then, only after you've learned something, do you scale what works. This process is what turns creativity from a random event into a reliable team habit. So what kinds of tools can you use in that ideate step? Well, you could run a design sprint to go from a problem to a tested idea in a single week. Or you could use a framework like Scamper, which uses simple prompts like substitute, combine, adapt to help you remix existing ideas into something new. Or you could try Amazon's famous PR/FAQ method, where you literally write the press release before you write a single line of code. It forces absolute clarity on the customer benefit. These are structures for creativity. Okay, so you have a process, you've got a toolkit, but what do you feed into this machine? Where do the best ideas really come from in the first place? In this next section, we'll dive into the two most critical sources of inspiration for any product team. Your best ideas are almost always going to come from two main channels: the voice of the customer, or VOC, and the voice of the product, VOP. The voice of the customer is what people say. They're telling you, I really wish this app had a dark mode. The voice of the product is what your data shows. It's seeing that, hey, 90% of our users drop off at this specific step. The magic, the real breakthrough, happens when you combine both. You listen to what your users are asking for, and then you validate it with what they're actually doing. That combination is a fantastic foundation. But in today's world, how can you push past the obvious insights? How do you really widen your creative lens to see the things your competitors are completely missing? And this is where AI is becoming an absolute game changer. Think of it less as a tool and more as a creative partner. It's an amplifier for your own team's intuition. You can use it to instantly sift through thousands of user reviews, to brainstorm 10 different UX mockups in minutes, or to simulate how different types of users might react to a new feature. AI doesn't replace your judgment. It supercharges your ability to see way more possibilities. All right, tools and data are vital, but they are not enough, not even close. Sustainable innovation doesn't come from a lone genius working in a dark room. It comes from the entire team. This section is all about how you, as a product leader, can build an environment where great ideas can actually flourish. These are the pillars of an innovative culture. First, psychological safety is completely non-negotiable. People have to feel safe to try things, and yes, to fail. If they're afraid of failing, they will never try anything truly new. Second, you need clear constraints. It sounds backwards, but creativity actually thrives with boundaries. And finally, you have to celebrate the attempt. You have to recognize the smart experiment, not just the successful outcome. That's what encourages the right behaviors. And if you need a real-world example, look no further than Google's famous 20% time policy. They gave their engineers the structured freedom to work on projects they were passionate about. And what was the result? Oh, just a few small things like Gmail and Google News. It is the ultimate proof that freedom and structure can coexist, and they can produce incredible results. Fear and bureaucracy are absolute innovation killers. They are where good ideas go to die. So your job as a leader is to replace them with trust and to actively fuel your team's curiosity. It is as simple and as difficult as that. All right, let's get really practical. How do we actually prove that all this focus on culture and creativity is working? Because you can't manage what you don't measure, and that absolutely applies to innovation too. A really simple way to measure your commitment to innovation is to just look at your roadmap. How much of your team's time and energy is actually spent on brand new ideas versus just optimizing what you already have? Now, there's no single right answer here, but simply tracking this split forces a crucial conversation about where you're investing your most valuable resource, your team's focus. And beyond the roadmap, you can track the velocity of your innovation engine. Are you running more experiments this quarter than last? Is the time it takes to get an idea in front of a real user getting shorter? Is more of the team getting involved in the process? Together, these metrics don't just measure outcomes, they measure the overall health of your innovation culture. And this brings us right to the central idea of this whole playbook. Creativity is just the starting line. A great idea is the spark. But true innovation only happens when that creative spark is forged in the fire of real-world validation. It's that powerful combination of imagination and evidence that creates genuine breakthroughs. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Stop searching for your next big idea. I'm telling you, it's the wrong question to ask. Instead, shift your focus. Go find a meaningful, painful, urgent problem for your users. The innovation will follow from there. So what problem will you solve first?